So great job, everyone. Once again for showing up. Once again for placing yourself, first. I was thinking on the way when I was driving just before on why these are so important, and it's when you show up to these types of calls that you're actually taking the action that's congruent with the types of mental patterns that you're wanting to install, right? And this is why it's so important, is because we can have a particular belief, we can have a particular pattern that we want to reinforce, whether it be to do with our confidence, to do with our self-esteem, to do with our worth. But unless you take the action, the actual physical action that's congruent with that, it really doesn't seek into the unconscious. Your unconscious, the universe, everything starts flowing when you take action that's congruent with that, right? And so it's important that we consistently take the action. If you're wanting to put yourself first, what I'm starting to realize, what I told Regina on our call just before, what really happens is when you start to place external circumstances, external results as more high priority than you and your truth and your alignment and your flow in your heart, you lose both. You really do. If you place money more than your higher priority than your truth, you lose both. But it's when you place yourself and your truth and your alignment, the connection with yourself as priority, everything else just starts flowing, just starts happening as a byproduct. That's just really what happens. It's powerful. So when you're on these calls every week and you set your reminder each week to say how I'm going to show up to this call, and I'm going to actually look internally and do the work, put myself first, you're showing yourself, you're taking the action that's congruent with that belief. So that's super, super powerful. So let's just take a moment just to, throughout our week, finally breathe, finally pay attention to our body. And what I'll get to is talking about different leaps that we can take, different ways in which we can take action on our heart and on our calling, and we can't really do that when we're not paying attention to our body. So welcome, Mel. You joined at just the right time. So once again, if everyone could just take a deep breath, you might want to just bring yourself to the present moment. So take a deep breath in and out, and again in and out. And once again, just paying attention to your body, moving from your head to your body, paying attention to this present moment. What's true right now? What's true right now isn't your past. What's true right now isn't the future. What's true right now isn't what's happening on later on. What's true right now is your heart's beating. What's true right now is your breathing. What's true right now is the blood's rushing around your body. What's true right now is you're paying attention to those sensations, vibrations, relaxations in your body. Just pay attention to what you feel and where you feel it. So maybe you can give me an indicator. Maybe you guys would love to share in the chat what it is you're feeling. What it is you're feeling when you pay attention to your body. Right now I'm feeling relaxed. I'm feeling a little bit excited. I always have like butterflies in my stomach whenever I get to the present moment and I think about the opportunities, the unlimited ways in which we can take this call, unlimited ways in which my day can unfold, right? Many ways in which things can manifest around me. But other days when I pay close attention to my body, I feel a heaviness in my stomach, or I feel you know, I feel like a tense, tight sensation in my solar plexus, right? All things to love, all things to pay attention to. Barbara, I'm feeling relaxed and excited about my boot camp. For those who don't know about Barbara's boot camp, you got to send her a message. She's starting to kick off some exciting Facebook Lives in her group. Exciting things, moving forward with different experiments outside your comfort zone because it's a calling. That's what we're going to get into in this call as well, is paying attention to what's a calling to you, what is really starting to draw you in and pull your heart to take an action, and how to really take that leap. That's awesome. So everyone just pay attention to your body, pay attention physically of what's happening. And I know a lot of you do meditate, so this is probably part of your practice. You're probably starting to get a really keen skill in doing this, right? Awesome. And for also those who are on the chat, make sure the chat's on to all panelists and attendees. That really helps as well. So let me give a good old summary of what you guys have been doing, and the and why this is so important. So I'm sure you guys have seen in the entrepreneurial world a lot of people placing, like I said before, placing external circumstances, external results, money, clients, a big business, and they're placing that above the connection with themselves. And they're doing that, of course, you know, now is to, at some level, fill a void within themselves, right? Because they're not taking action based on a heart calling, based on their creativity and their flow, but more of a place of fear and scarcity and lack and neediness, right? We've all been there. We've all been there where we're taking action and wanting to get more income, more clients, whatever it may be, because we feel the lack of it, because we feel like we need the income. We feel like things are dire and things need to change externally for us to feel how we want internally. And that void is especially prevalent in the way in which we feel enough, right? In which we feel enough. We feel like something needs to happen externally in order for us to feel enough, feel worthy, and feel worthy of the love that to our unconscious is our survival. So that's all important stuff to pay attention to. When we pay attention to our body, and when these fears, doubts, and frustrations arise, what we really love to pay attention to and raise awareness around is the fact that that is a 5-year-old pattern. Like, it's our internal 5-year-old that's coming up, that's has the belief that what needs to happen externally and who I need to be is tied to my worthiness, right? Fear comes up around money because you have a particular belief that if you're broke, you won't be enough, you won't be loved, right? You have a particular belief that says, I need money in order to feel safe, in order to feel secure, in order to feel freedom, in order to have the life I want to live. I need to have, in order to have money, and that manifests itself in terms of a particular emotion. So what this work does is help love all of those sides. A good analogy I listened to on a YouTube call was basically a guy explaining it also as, you know, how we're saying it, it's almost like we've had a 5-year-old, right? 5-year-old come up to you. The way he described it was, it's almost like you've adopted a child, and this child is like a foster child. And when you have a foster child, they've got particular past experiences, right? Particular beliefs because of their past experiences. So let's say you have a child, let's say you adopt a child, a foster child, and they've come from an abusive background, a really harsh environment. And all of a sudden, you can look in their eyes, you can see there's love, there's a real gift in this child. You can see the love, you can see the kindness, but they have a particular pattern to run away and hide in a closet, for example, until the trust is built. That's almost what it's like. It's almost like that child's running away because they have a particular belief, particular pattern, and until there needs to be trust, until there needs to be some sort of rapport established. That's really what our fears are all about, you know. And with you, if you have that child, would you say they need to change, right? Would you say they need to be fixed? Would you say they need to feel different? Of course not, right? You would allow that child to act how they want to act, behave how they want to behave, feel how they want to feel, and you just be the loving space for them to come into their own, right? You be the loving space for them to feel however they want to feel, to do whatever's true for them, and build that as well. Hello, Hannah. Welcome. So your chat's also set to all panelists, so I'm the only one that's seeing that. Welcome, Jess. Welcome, Lynn. Who else haven't I said hi to? Welcome, everyone. So if you guys would like to pay attention to your body, pay attention to what's happening, start to really connect and start to really love all of these sides, not so they can change, but so they can, so you can develop a different relationship with them. Because it's only when you love them unconditionally and you don't need them to leave that pattern will actually dissipate. So that's why whenever I feel a pattern, whenever I feel fear or feel scarcity or feel lack, what I do is I basically have a rule with myself that I don't need it to leave. I don't need it to leave. I need it to be here to teach me whatever it needs to teach me, and I just need to listen. I just need to hear, understand, and love this side of me that's emerging. It's emerging because it's ready to be released. What a lot of people do is they push them back down, right? We've gone through this time and time again, but I think it's well worth mentioning that this again is that when we feel a particular emotion, most people have the pattern of pushing it back down through the patterns of avoidance, resistance, or reacting as well. So they push them back down. So then those patterns don't get seen, they don't get understood, they don't get loved, and they basically remain unconscious while they grow. What we want to do is do the work we're doing right now, and that's meditating, loving these sides of us, paying attention, feeling it fully, and allowing it to transcend. And when those patterns transcend, you can start to feel the creativity, the flow, the abundance that starts to emerge. You create space for a higher level of consciousness. You provide space for a higher level of thinking and feeling, right? And that's what you can pour into your business. That's really what you can pour into your business as more of who you are, right? And trust me, your heart knows how to sell. Your heart knows the tactics to use, the tools and strategies. Your heart knows that. Your heart has unlimited ways in which it likes to create ideas. It's just your job to just trust it. So everyone who's been in the group has seen that I created a video this week that was really showing my truth and being open, vulnerable, and honest. And I love the support as well. I love the support that I was getting in terms of not only on the post, but people messaging me as well. Because basically, since I started my coaching journey, for those of you who don't know, since I started my coaching journey a few years ago, I started working a job. When I moved back from Canada, I started working at a restaurant, and so I could move out and I could grow my business. And basically, I kept that job because I believed that I needed to have that consistent income to feel safe, right? To feel secure, and to feel responsible, as well. And although I cut back a lot of hours, although I cut back a lot of days and shifts as my business grew, some weeks I'm working 1 shift a week, sometimes even just 5 hours a week. But it felt very scary to leave, very scary to leave. And so only very recently, in the last few days or so, that I actually told them that I'm going to quit and leave the job. It took me a long time to first of all admit. I was very scared to admit that I was working at a job. First of all, because I thought it sort of gave me less integrity, less authority, less credibility, right? But really, I understand now. I was really just downplaying myself. I wasn't worried about what other people were really thinking. That was just surface. What I was really worried about and what I was really judging was myself, and judging my own worthiness and judging my own credibility. That's what was really happening. And so what meditation does is meditation basically lifts your level of consciousness, right? So it lifts your level of consciousness to a place where you can start to understand what's happening. You can start to see that you are unlimited possibility. That's all you are, right? We're all the same. We're all just heart and lungs, and we all have infinite possibility, right? Infinite potential. That's what you start to recognize when you meditate and when you start to develop a mindfulness type of pattern, correct? We're all made up of the same stuff, right? The atoms that flow within us were once created in exploding stars. Incredible. And so when you pay attention to that, you realize your infinite potential. And so what I was doing was I was lifting my level of consciousness for 2 hours a day, and then going back to the job, which is my small story of I need a income, consistent income, despite how small it is, to remain safe, to remain secure. What I'm telling myself is that if I need something externally for me to feel secure, that's telling me that I'm not security, right? Unconsciously, it's telling me that I'm not safety, right? It's telling me that I'm not responsibility. So maybe this will resonate. Hopefully this resonates with you guys as well. If you're placing something externally as something that is going to help you feel something internally, you're unconsciously telling yourself that you're not that thing, right? You're not security. You're not safe. You're not abundance, right? You're not confidence. If you think something externally needs to happen for you to feel that way internally. Maybe just give me a yes or a hallelujah or a howdy if this is resonating with you guys. Because trust me, it resonates with me. Yes. Irene, Regina definitely resonates. Cool. That's good to hear. And that's this is something that this group is loving, right? Is loving to do. And it's really super powerful. I see Lynn's got her hand raised. I'll get to you in a minute, Lynn. Awesome. Andrea, perfect. Says, yep. Great, awesome. So when you pay attention to this, when you pay attention to you and you lift your level of consciousness, you can start to see your small stories. Oh, Lynn made a mistake. Feel free to just raise your hand anyway. Just do it for the attention. I was making a big deal earlier around my new haircut. So pay attention to that. Pay attention to the actions you may be taking, that are no longer part of your expansion. The actions you are taking that are no longer your highest calling, that are no longer aligned with you anymore. Getting a job for me was my highest alignment at one point, right? Allowed me to be independent. It felt like an expansion. But now it feels like a contraction. I feel like it's constricting me. I feel like it doesn't feel expansive. It feels contracting. And that's when I pay attention to my heart. right? Pay attention to my heart. That's what I feel. In my head, I'm like, yeah, you got to get that to feel safety, security, and everything like that. When I'm believing when I'm believing my limiting story. So when you guys are meditating, when you guys are actually remembering and realizing that you're infinite potential, what is it that you feel called to do? What is it that you feel called to do? And what is it that you feel called to cut off? Thanks for all your comments, Lynn. Everyone's loving the haircut. Regina, this is very powerful. We need to listen to ourselves and adjust as necessary, of course. Right? Listen to yourself. You can trust yourself when you're at peace with what is. When you're at peace with what's happening internally, your thoughts and emotions, you can truly accept and love everything that's happening externally. That's when you can trust your heart, your mind, your spirit. So I'd love for you guys, if you were to get a pen and paper, just for a minute, when you have infinite potential, what's something that comes to mind that you'd love to just feel a calling to do? Right? Just feel a calling to do. Whether that be start writing a book, or whether that be starting a YouTube channel, whether it be telling someone you love them, whether it be leaving a job, whether it be, just go out for a walk, whether it be cut out sugar out of your diet, right? Buy a gym membership, start a podcast. In those moments when you have those limiting stories fall away in meditation or other means, what is it that you feel a calling? What is it that you feel pulled to do? What's something that comes to mind first? Maybe we can share in the chat. Sim, write my book. Awesome. Regina said, finish my book on grief and my course on bulletproofing your marriage. Amazing. They're in process. We keep moving to the back burner. Awesome. I was invited today to sort out my email and found 2 gifts that I use to use my boot camp. Awesome. I'm working on a book. Everyone's working on a book. Everyone's working on a book. Cool. Liam, conquer my own depression and pass on to others. Are you going to pass your depression on to others? That's what it sounds like you're doing. I'm going to assume that's not what you mean. Awesome. So what feels like a calling, right? Yeah, Lynn wants to pass on the cure. Amazing. Finish all my business planning. Says Andrea. Jess. I went from book to my blog. Mission is to preserve health. Health for you and for you and you. Awesome. So these are the callings, right? This is what your heart sort of pulls you to do. It doesn't feel like a push. It doesn't feel like I need to do it to be somebody. It doesn't feel like I need to do it in order to feel loved, right? It doesn't feel like I need to do it in order to feel safe, secure, in order to feel significant. It's just a calling, a pull, right? And here's what happens. Normally, if it's a real calling, you'll have like a feeling that says, what if I do this? And it'll feel exciting. It will feel exciting in your body. It'll feel like a pull. And then your mind will come up with, yeah, but you can't do that because you didn't have the time. Or yeah, but you can't do that because you don't have the energy right now. You don't have the finances. You don't have the resources, right? You'll have the excuses come up. Yeah, but people will judge you. Yeah, but people won't love it. Yeah, but people won't buy it. Right? Can you feel that? If it's a real pull, if it's a real leap, That's what comes up. It's both what comes up. So it's also exciting. It's also a calling. It's also fearful. But you can feel that it's expanding. It feels an expansion, right? Just some green tea here. So feel that. Feel what's a calling to you, right? Barbara. This is happening more and more in little things. I'm excited to think about when the big things start showing up. Awesome. Exactly. Cool. So feel that in your body. Feel what's a calling, and then your mind freaks out and says, "Yeah, you can't do that." But what happens? What happens if this will happen? What happens if that'll happen? You come up with an excuse. That's your small story. That's your small story showing up. Like me, I wanted to leave my job, but I'm like, well, what if you don't have consistent income? What if you don't? What if you run out of money? What if you have to move back in with your parents? What if, all this what if comes up? Like the biggest thing ever just dropped on your head, maybe. It's been great having the big feeling, and now it's a genie when it's great cosmic powers. Itty bitty living space. I feel like if it's a real calling, it's where the most fear comes up. Yes, exactly. If it's a calling, it will be fear, because a calling to you is your expansion. An expansion is something that's outside your comfort zone, which means it's death to your smaller story, right? Because it resonates so much for you, but then I always start thinking of being a failure and judgment. Yeah, exactly. So you say, this is a calling, it feels expansion, but now I have the fear, right? Now I have the fear, the judgment, the doubt, the worry. All of that will show up. Here's what happens. When you have a calling, when you have a decision, when you have an opportunity, two things show up. One is the excitement. One is the, oh my God, what if this happens, right? What if it's an absolutely new realm for me. But then the fear shows up and says, yeah, but what if you go broke? Yeah, but what if you're judged? Yeah, what if you lose your friends? What if you lose this other thing? And two things show up. In that moment, you have an opportunity of which side you're basically going to take an action on, right? And feed. Are you going to feed the fear and stay in your small story, or are you going to feed the opportunity? Because no matter what option you choose, the other one will fall away. This is what I'm finding. If you choose the opportunity, you take action with the opportunity, you take a leap, the fear will fall away. The fear will fall away. But if you take action based on your small story to do with fear, lack, judgment, worry, the opportunity will fall away. So two things show up, right? In that moment. It's up to you which one you would like to make a decision on. Which one would you like to take action towards? So this is what happened with me. Time and time again, I just had this feeling like, what if I left my job? What if I left my job? Would that allow me to freak out? Would that allow me to freak out? Or would it feed me? Right? Would it allow me to expand into a different version of myself? Once I finally said, yeah, I'm leaving the job, I took the opportunity, the fear dropped away. Right? I'm losing that income, but all of a sudden I'm operating at a different channel, a different level. Seriously, I've just taken the opportunity, the fear dropped away, and I don't feel scarcity or fear or lack anymore around that. And now I've just stepped into a new channel where I'm just getting so many creative ideas and things are flowing in my life. So more clients are coming to me now, more opportunities are coming, more collaborative partners are coming to me, more insightful ideas on how much value I can add to this group with these calls, how I can expand them, how I can show up in the group in a different level, right? Different areas of content to share. everything's just expanding. And because I'm now starting to live my new story, my expanded story. And so now I'm vibrating on a different level. And that's what happens when you take a leap. Now, the funny thing is, the scariest thing about the leap is making the decision. It's not the leap itself. This is so funny. Kyle C says this all the time. The scariest thing when you're about to skydive, what's the scariest part? What's the scariest part of the skydive? Many people say it's when you're looking over the edge, right? It's when you're in the plane looking over the edge. That's the scariest part. But that's when you're still safe. That's when you're still safe. You're still in the plane. It's not when you've jumped. When you've jumped, all of a sudden you've made that decision. All of a sudden you're flying through the air, right? Thousands of k's per hour. But that's not the scary part, because you've made the decision. It's crazy. I was listening to this metaphor and I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm going to make this decision to leave the job, and I'm going to freak out the whole time. It's not true. I made the decision. After the decision, I just expanded. I'm like, holy shit, I'm just at a different level. I'm operating on a different channel now, an absolute different channel. And the fear dropped away, and now I'm dropping. Now I'm skydiving. And it's the same with you guys. You'll have a calling. You'll have something that you feel pulled to do, and it will feel scary. Maybe it's cut someone out of your life. Maybe it's having a difficult conversation. Maybe it's telling someone I love you. Maybe it's starting your own podcast, your own YouTube channel, your own Facebook group, right? Whatever it may be, a different offer, different business. Maybe it's to even leave your business if it's not your highest calling anymore. Whatever feels aligned. The scariest part is just making the decision. It's just making the decision. Because once you make the decision to take the leap, that's really where the power is. So I've got a few things here. Best advice I've ever seen this week has been that imposter syndrome is just lack of confidence due to not knowing that you know. So if that's true, success is sure. Exactly. Other big thing that came to me this week is that to show up the best is to simply talk from self to the person you are. Talk from self to the person you are. Yep. As in, stop trying to fix others, fix yourself, and those who need that will follow. Thoughts? My thoughts? That's awesome. The answer is always a deeper connection with yourself, right? A lot of people think if someone else does something different, if someone else changes, then I'll feel different. It's their job to change so that I will feel different, right? One thing I would add here, Jess, is you don't need to fix yourself. You need to love yourself. Love the side of you that thinks it needs to be fixed, right? There's a difference. So it's almost like when we meditate, when we do this inner work, we don't necessarily change who we are. We just develop a different relationship with the sides of us. It's just a different level of love. Different level of love with the sides of us that can fail, different sides of us that can make mistakes, the sides of us that can go broke, the sides of us that can get rejected. Right? It's just opening up a different level of love with the sides of us, with the different sides of us. I'm in the middle of a pivot to make my business actually align with me. Oh, yes. Andrea, that's exciting. That's exciting. Right now, I'm the same. Right now, my business, my work, the message I want to spread is so aligned with me that, man, it just feels effortless. It feels so in flow. I'm having clients sign up right now that just feel so effortless. I just feel like I'm in flow, in creativity. I just feel like I'm being me. And you guys can think of that yourself. So write this down or pay attention to this. What is it that you guys can do What is it? What action can you take, or what do you need to shift internally for your business to be more aligned with who you are? This can be tough. I think we're having a shift in consciousness in the world in how we do business. I think a lot of people are spending a lot of time on, obviously, on marketing and sales, but especially solopreneurs, especially people with smaller teams. Sometimes the marketing and selling is not aligned with you, right? It's not, it doesn't feel aligned. A lot of the marketing, a lot of the sales feels like you're manipulating. It feels like you need to get the copy right, the tactic right, so that you can get something from someone. I think that still can align with some people. I think it's still important to learn some tools and tactics. What I'm finding is that if it doesn't align with you, if you feel at some level it doesn't align, not only is it impacting your level that you're able to succeed and your level to create an impact, but you're actually attracting the wrong people because you're operating from your head, you're reaching people at their head, right? You're going to be having people sign up with you and jump into your business and your program as clients who are in their head rather than their heart. I think there's a consciousness shift that's happening. It's not prevalent yet, but it's a consciousness shift where we're starting to understand that selling comes from the heart. Your heart knows how to sell. Your heart knows what tactics and strategies to use. Your heart knows that there's infinite possibilities, right? And when you do that, when you come from your heart, this is what I'm finding. I just started pouring my heart into the group and on these calls, and it's giving so much value of just what's flowing out of me. And I'm finding clients coming to me that are also in their heart, that feel aligned, that feel, they feel like they also expand me. So I'm only now working with people who feel expansion, who feel like we can co-create together, who feel like we can just really collaborate together, that we're a good fit. It's no longer the traditional coach and client relationship. It's now I'm working with people who feel like just as an expansion as a mentor would, right? So this is something that I can offer you guys, and it's also something that I'm learning, and I'm on my journey as well. Maybe things that you guys can teach me around this. And you may be able to guide me in some things that are true for you. What I'm finding is that so many marketing and sales tactics they're just not resonating with the people who are selling, and that creates an impact. But if you're in your flow, if you're in your creativity, if you're in your alignment, and you give value from that place, Jesus, that's where you're unstoppable. That's where people are like, I see, hear, and feel this person. They're reaching me here, right? With their vulnerability and their authenticity, with their truth. I have such a pull to share the message of a higher level of consciousness in business, right? Where for people to flip the script and place their connection with themselves as higher priority than their external circumstances, than their external results, than what they can achieve. I feel so pulled to do that. And what people don't realize is that when you do create that shift, the success and the money and everything else just comes as a byproduct, right? And a part of that is because you don't need it. It's crazy. And if you don't need it, if you don't need that to feel how you want to feel internally, you are so safe. You are safe for people to sign up with you. You are safe for people to collaborate with you and jump on the journey with you. And that's what I love about you guys. You guys have jumped on this journey with me, and you feel at some level this is also a calling for you, right? To work on to transcend the emotions that are happening internally and to live a more conscious life, to live a life that's more aligned. and think about how that can do within what that can mean for your business. All right, leave some comments. Sim, I have that calling too, Tyson. Awesome. High five. Jess, Irene, all on board. DJ, my selling is not Facebook funnels. It's talking with the right value-centered people to collaborate. Exactly. Right? People who feel aligned with you, people who feel like you connect on a heart-to-heart basis, right? Barbara, well, it's a great insight for what you're doing for heart-centered marketing. I just joined Spiritual Marketing Group. Awesome. I don't know about that group. Maybe you can invite me. That'd be incredible. Andrea, like when you go shopping for that specific item and you can't find it anywhere, and then you are not looking for it and it appears everywhere. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yes, Barbara, send me an invite. That would be awesome. Think about it, guys. This just stemmed from before when you guys are saying about, you know, what can I do in my business? I think it was Andrea. What can I do in my business to make it more aligned, to make it feel more aligned with me? If your business isn't aligned with you and your heart, and you don't feel pulled, like, what are you doing it for? Right? What are you doing it for? If you can shift your focus on what you're getting to what you can give, how you can serve, trust me. And one other thing I'm catching on is that when you focus on a particular marketing strategy, a particular sales tactic, your mind's very focused on getting that right, rather than what your heart realizes is that everything's an option, right? There's so many endless ways of possibilities. You're just infinite possibilities. And when you meditate, when you pay attention to your body, when you breathe, when you're doing what we're doing now, paying attention to your body, you'll get that insight. You'll say, let's do it this way. This way feels more of a pull. This way feels more of a calling. It might be scary. Maybe no one's even doing it, right? When I started this Facebook group and started doing these sort of calls, I don't know anyone who's doing these sort of calls. I don't know anyone who's doing these sort of calls, who's just doing group coaching for free in the group, right? This was no marketing strategy, tactic, whatever. I'm not even selling here. It's just a pull to me to do this. It's just a calling for me to do it. Lynn, there's no wrong way. Cool. Andrew, I love that. Always getting overwhelmed with specific strategies for things because I feel the need to be a perfectionist. Awesome. Love the side of you that wants to be a perfectionist. Love the side of you that's fearing the failure, that's fearing making mistakes, right? Feel that. Feel that. All of you guys, while you're paying attention to your calling, while you're paying attention to this leap, while you're paying attention to that, ask the question, what side of you is coming up that needs to be loved? All of this is happening so that you can connect with yourself at a deeper level. It's all happening so you can connect with yourself at a deeper level. So when you feel like taking this leap, what side of you needs to be loved? For me, taking the leap, the side of me that needs to be loved is the side of me that feels scarcity, that feels lack, that feels like I need security, rather than reminding myself that I'm security. I am bigger than anything that can happen. I imagine myself losing all my money and being completely at peace. Truly. I'm like, if I had no money, if I had no opportunities or whatever, if all of that happened, I would find a way, because I'd be connecting with myself and realizing that I'm infinite. I'm the connection that I'm really after. Right? So for you, Andrea, I love that side of you that feels like you need to be perfect. Don't change that side of you. Love that side of you. Right? So that side of you is the child, is the foster child. Think of the foster child coming in that has rules around making mistakes. That has rules around I need to be perfect to be loved. Right? So your pattern, this perfectionist side, has a pattern of, instead of going and hiding in the closet, it's to hide away and not make mistakes. So be the safe space for that side of you. Be the safe space for that side of you to feel however it feels and feel it fully. Lynn, the side of me that doesn't feel grown up enough. Yes. To be taken seriously. Yes. And you're 58. Invite me to your 60th birthday, please. So the side of me that doesn't feel grown up enough to be taken seriously. Feel that. Feel that. Feel that in your body. Feel it, right? Feel all of it. Love that side of you. Be the safe space for it. There's a lot of comments here. A lot of you are starting to pay attention to what you can do in your business to make it feel more aligned. Or what it is that you need to, what it is you need to let go of. What story do you need to let go of? Should I create a post in the group to share this so you guys can have a conversation? I don't have anything organized, but I can create a post if you guys want to have a conversation around it, because I'll be happy to help you guys as well. If there's a leap that you guys feel pulled to make, or there's something that needs to happen, or a side of you that needs to be loved, or a story you need to let go of, sometimes sharing that is and having a conversation around it is super impactful. So I'd be more than happy to create a post and so everyone can start sharing on what they can do in their business, what they know they need to do to really make it feel more aligned with them. Trust me, you're all feeling this, right? You're all feeling the opportunity and the fear. What decision are you going to make? Because trust me, if you take a leap, if you leave that job, if you start that podcast, if you write that book, if whatever you do, if you stay there, if you stay in this opportunity, the fear drops. The moment you make the decision, the fear drops. And then you're just in this unlimited possibility where you're just learning as you go. For example, if you start a podcast, once you start a few episodes, it's scary, but you just get so many creative ideas on what to do next and how to add value and what spin you can put on it and what feels so exciting that you just want to interview someone else or a different theme or a different message, right? All of a sudden the podcast starts growing you. The book starts writing you, right? The YouTube channel starts growing you. The Facebook group. This Facebook group, I swear to God, it's growing me. I swear to God, it's growing me. I just feel so much of a pull and expansion to grow it, add so much value. And I love the people in the community that you guys are growing me. Because I took that leap and I just stayed in, I just realized, you know what, this feels in flow. This feels in flow. And it feels like my expansion, my creation. Awesome, Barbara. I'm realizing that I'm feeling overwhelmed. I need to love the side of me that is too proud. Yes, yes, yes. One of the biggest things is to also pay attention to the success that you want. Pay attention to the particular outcome, and if you're attached to it. One thing that is, I think I might have mentioned it last week on the call, excitement, like extended excitement about something actually stems from the same place as fear. It actually, because you can feel excited when you want to take a leap, but realize that what you're doing is you're excited about you. Get excited about you. You're the one that has the expansion. You're the one that has endless possibilities. If you get excited about a particular outcome, if you get excited about making 10 grand or having 5 clients or the podcast of itself or the YouTube channel or the book, if you're excited about that external circumstance or that external result, realize that that's actually coming from fear. It's actually stemming from fear. It's coming from the same place that says something externally needs to happen in order for me to feel how I want to feel internally. But when you take a leap, when you leap when you leap into what feels like a calling, you can actually pay attention to getting excited about you. That's very different. Getting excited about who you are, getting excited about your expansion, your endless possibilities, getting excited about the fact that you are safe, you are security. A very, very different feeling. It's a very different level of relationship with yourself. Does that make sense? It makes sense in my head, but it's also important that this makes sense to you guys as well. Tyson, you're awesome. I know, and I've got a cool haircut. Did you see my haircut? I had such a huge spark in my heart. I don't have words for this. Awesome. Don't have words for it. What happens also when you have a huge spark in your heart is that it is too much. It's too much for your mind to pay attention to. Right? It's too much. Your mind does not need to wrap around any of this. Your heart and your body is endless expansion. Right? You are the universe. You have endless possibilities. Your mind won't have the capacity to wrap itself around that. That's why when you take a leap, you have endless possibilities, and you can't measure the endless possibilities that you can take from that leap. What your mind will measure is what you will lose. There's another thing that Kyle C says all the time. When you take a leap, the reason why it's scary is because you can measure what you will lose, but you can't measure the infinite possibilities of what you will gain. So when you take that leap, when you start that thing, when you say no, when you say yes, when you follow your heart, when you do what's scary, but you feel it's a pull, you feel it's an expansion, your mind can't see the endless opportunities, the endless benefit, the endless expansion from that. Right? Your mind can't see that. Only your heart knows. That's why it'll give you just one step. That step is a preview. That feeling is a preview. But what you're doing is when you are in that decision, your mind can measure what it will lose. Right? So take that leap. Take that leap and show your mind, show your body, show your spirit that you're willing to listen to it. That you take action on what you're actually wanting to believe. This is exploding my head. Let your head explode. Let your head explode. Lynn says there's a huge yes in my heart. Follow that experience, follow that heart, right? Follow that. Trust me, you'll either get the lesson or you'll get the outcome. You'll follow your heart and you'll get endless possibilities, right? Things will just show up. Things will just show up that is just so coincidental that you're like, oh my God, now I'm starting to play with the universe, right? It's crazy. Words put that feeling in a box. We can't accurately describe some of these feelings. Exactly, Andrea. You don't need to. It's perfect. Lynn, you have so much wisdom for one so young. I've been told so many times that I'm an old soul. I don't know what that means, but I'm an old soul apparently. And I turned 30 this year, so is that young? I feel young. I know I look 22 and I feel 18. Right, our mind is too slow to process our heart and can receive quickly that when you use in our lives to bless those we need to have. Regina has to hop off. Yes, so let's wrap this up. So what you guys can do moving forward, Write down the leap that you know you need to take. Write down the leap that you know you need to take. You know that feels scary. It might even feel scary to just list it. And you can list also beside it, you can list the doubt. Right? List the yeah, but whatever. List the but what if? Right? What's the leap for you? What's the leap for you? Awesome. Cool. That's another thing in my head when I'm trying to do big things. Part of my head keeps saying, I'm just a little kid. Awesome. Love that little kid. We're all little kids, right? We're all little kids at some part. Amazing, guys. Amazing. So let's wrap this up. Write down what your leap is. Write down even the doubts. Write down the fears. Write down the frustrations. Write down everything, and focus on following your heart. Take that leap. Take that action. Show your mind, body, and spirit what it is that you're actually believing by following it up with that action. If you guys have any, if you guys want the support, any questions, let me know. And let's do that. I'm going to create a post. I'll probably, I might tag a few of you in here. Those of you who are wanting to share. And let's do that. I'll tag you in the post and then just share what's coming to mind. That would be awesome. It'd be awesome for the community, awesome for the group, and awesome for you to put it out there. Right? Awesome. So thank you so much, guys. Feel free to continue on that list. If it was me, I've done this many times. Write 50 to 100 things that come up for you. 50 to 100 things that come up for you in terms of what's a calling, a pull, some sort of expansion that you know is going to help you. And do that exercise, and trust me, you can start to tick off that list of taking those leaps. So thank you so much, guys. This has been awesome. It's been so cool. I'll see you in the group, and I'll see you in the post. I'll tag you guys, and let's get a discussion going. Thanks so much.